Most of Elul is already gone. But it's never too late. A person's just got to try and arouse themselves. And it's all to do with our arousing. We have to arouse ourselves to do teshuvah, to come back to Hashem. So let's use a mechanism which the rabbis always talk about, which is the mechanism of what's called remez. Remez are hints. A person's going to use the hints in the Torah. And the rabbis discuss 5 different hints in the Torah to Elul. And we started talking about it earlier. Mishnah Berurah brings down 2 of them. So let's just discuss them one by one. So one of the most famous is a pasuk which we read in last week's parasha. Umar Hashem Elokecha levavcha ve'levav zarecha. Hashem will circumcise your heart and the heart of your children. Right? So it's in Devarim chapter 30. Devarim chapter 30. Hashem will circumcise our hearts. Now what does that mean? It doesn't mean it's heart surgery. It means Hashem will remove the Yetzer Hara from our hearts. Right? And this is predicted in the prophet Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, and Navi, in one of the famous predictions where the Christians get the Brit Chadasha, where it's totally perverse explanation of the Navi. Navi says there'll be a new covenant, and the covenant will be in your flesh. Not a new covenant, it's not going to be a new book. It's going to be a new covenant in your flesh. And no man will need rabbis. No man will need to learn. It'll be inside you. Intuitively, everyone will know God. Intuitively. So they're spending millions of dollars or billions of dollars to try and convert people. Obviously, it's not a covenant in the flesh. Right? So there's a new covenant in the flesh, which is similar to this idea, this concept of circumcision of the heart, which is what is circumcision of the heart? Cutting out the evil of the heart. And that Hashem is going to do. Why? Because the person can try their best, but very few people reach that stage. David HaMelech reached that stage after a lot of adventures, right? Where he says, Libi halal bikirbi. My heart is empty inside me. David HaMelech says, my heart is empty inside me. He reached the stage of circumcising his heart. So it's an interesting Rambam in the laws of Brit Milah. He says, why do we have a mitzvah Brit Milah of circumcision? And the answer he gives is to tell us that just like we can circumcise and perfect our bodies, it's really an act of plastic surgery, we can perfect and circumcise our souls as well. We can perfect our souls. So just like the perfection of our bodies is in our hands, so too the perfection of a person's soul is in their hands. And that's what the first line tells us. Hashem will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your children, and that is talking about teshuvah. When a person does teshuvah, they are in a sense, they are circumcising their hearts. Because I am trying to control my Yetzer Hara. I'm trying to be sorry for what I did in the past. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. I'm actually circumcising my heart. I am removing the bad from within myself. And that's really a very powerful idea. So that's the first hint of Elul, which is circumcision of the heart, which is teshuvah. And we're going to talk about B'nai Teshuvah more gradually later on, because there's 2 different vehicles for teshuvah. There's the vehicle of the Ramban, Nachmanides, which is in Parshat Nitzavim, right? B'shavta Hashem Elokecha, you will return to Lord your God. And it says it's Lo b'shamayim here, it's not in the heavens and not on the earth, not far away. It's in your mouth and in your heart to do it. So Rambam explains it's the mitzvah of teshuvah. Teshuvah is in the heart and in the mouth to do it. A person can do teshuvah in the head without doing anything. All a person has to do is think in the heads, please Hashem, I'm sorry, I want to do teshuvah, and that's it. It's done already. And there's a very famous Gemara. The Gemara is in Kiddushin. The Gemara says, we know there's a person who he has a bad reputation. And under the chuppah he says, you are married to me on condition I am a tzaddik. Is he married or not married? The Gemara says, is he married or not married? The Gemara says, maybe he thought teshuvah in his head, and therefore he's married. Imagine. Salacha is maybe yes, maybe no, and therefore he requires a get or another kiddushin. You can't live in a state of limbo. Are you married, not married? The person's got to fix that state. Either give the get, go, or you get married again. Do it properly. This way, there's no questions of marriage. But what we learn from the Gemara is, even if he just thinks in his head, teshuvah, he's a tzaddik. So we see, according to Ramban, it's very easy. The person has to think in his head. You don't even have to say anything. Obviously, it's better if you say something. That's the opinion of the Rambam. Rambam says the mitzvah of vidui is the mitzvah of teshuvah. The mitzvah of teshuvah is the mitzvah of vidui. Without saying vidui, without articulating your thoughts, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, a person, that's not considered teshuvah. Now there's a very fascinating Rambam, and this Rambam is in chapter 2, I think it's Halacha Bet of the Hilchot Teshuvah. The Rambam says it's only teshuvah if Hashem himself, the word he used is Yodea Talumot. If Yodea Talumot, which is the person, the one who knows the hidden things of the mind, guarantees that the person will never do it, the thing again. Right? Sounds very harsh, right? Only if Hashem guarantees that the person will never do it again, it's teshuvah. So there's a beautiful Lechem Mishneh, which is one of the commentaries of the Rambam. The Lechem Mishneh says it's talking about at that moment. Hashem is not using his powers of telling the future. Hashem guarantees that at this moment right now he is sincere, whether he's going to repeat it or not repeat it. Hashem doesn't bring his knowledge of the future into play. Right now, did he do teshuvah or not? Right now, did he make up his mind not to do it again? Hashem says that's teshuvah. That's what I'm saying. Yodea Talumot. The one God gives witness now, right now, he's about teshuvah. What he's going to do in the future, Hashem, right now, I don't care. I'm just judging him on the future, right now on the present. Hashem judges us on our present. If we are doing teshuvah now, right now we are tzaddikim. Whatever happens in the future, that happens in the future. Hashem doesn't take that into account. How do we know? That's the first reading of Rosh Hashanah. The first reading of Parashat of Rosh Hashanah deals with the story of Yishmael. Abraham Avinu kicks out his Hagar and Yishmael. He kissed them out. Very, very harsh. It wasn't his fault. His wife told him to. He listened to his wife. His wife says, throw them out. He's going to corrupt Yitzhak. Ishmael's going to corrupt Yitzhak. He doesn't want to do it. Hashem says, Kol asher tumah elecha Sarah, shema b'kola. Whatever Sarah tells you, listen to her voice. Rashi says over there, her voice, kola, is referring to the voice of prophecy which is inside her. We learn out that Sarah was a greater prophetess than Abraham. Interesting. She was greater when it came to prophecy than Abraham Avinu. So as he throws them out, and Ishmael is very, very sick. And Hashem sends an angel to show Hagar the water to heal Ishmael. Ishmael's dying of thirst. So what happens? Why? And the angels ask God, why are you saving Ishmael? Can you imagine? All our troubles today are from Ishmael. Right? All the troubles we have today with the Ishmaelites are from Ishmael. So why did Hashem save him? And the answer is, Vashehu Sham. Hashem judged him when he was there right then. Right then he was a tzaddik. Hashem saved his life. Interesting. Obviously different opinions and different perspectives, but that's what the Rashi says over there, Vashehu Sham. So it depends on what you are now. If your teshuvah is sincere right now, doesn't matter what you're going to do in the future, your teshuvah is accepted. And that's what we're going to try. We have to try and bring ourselves to that point in Elul. You know, people wait for the last minute. It's not good. People wait for the last minute. Try and do teshuvah. Listen, if you have a court case and you don't do your preparations before the court case, if you have a lousy lawyer or whatever, he doesn't do his preparations, it's going to be a mess. So it's very important before the court case. The court case is Rosh Hashanah, which is interesting. And I'm going to talk about this on Shabbat because Rosh Hashanah is one of the most hidden holidays. Nowhere in the Torah, number one, doesn't call it Rosh Hashanah, it calls it on the 7th month. On the 1st of the month. It'll be Yom Teruah. It's a day of blowing. That's it. What does it say about Rosh Hashanah? It doesn't say very much about Rosh Hashanah. We don't know it's a day of judgment until the Mishnah comes along and tells us the day of judgment. So Rosh Hashanah is very hidden. I'm going to talk about it on Shabbat. But one of the concepts we have is this concept of Teshuvah. Rambam, the Vilna Gaon says, this is a tremendous chesed Hashem did for us. The mitzvah of Teshuvah is tremendous chesed. Imagine, if I smack you in the face and I come to you afterwards and say sorry, or I smash your car and I say sorry, if it wasn't for this idea of Teshuvah that's inbred into us, why would I accept your forgiveness? Why would I forgive you? You damaged me, you ruined me. Why would I forgive you? And this is what Hashem is megaleh. Hashem is revealing to us this idea of Teshuvah, which is the biggest chesed he ever did. Right? And this is one of the big things that we diverge from Christianity. Right? Christianity says, without blood, we cannot be redeemed. Without the blood of the sacrifice, cannot be redeemed. And that's what it seems in the Torah. If you read Vayikra, it's all about sacrifice, it's all about blood. However, we have another option, and that is Teshuvah. And that's the Rambam, famous Rambam. Rambam says, today we have no korbanot, we have no the goat, the goat that they pushed off the cliff. No scapegoat. All we have today is teshuvah. That's all we have. In our arsenal, we have teshuvah. So let's use teshuvah properly. And we said teshuvah can be in the mind. A person can be sitting in the bus doing teshuvah. A person can be sitting in the train doing teshuvah. A person can be sitting anywhere they want, just doing teshuvah. Just thinking the words of teshuvah is very precious in God's eyes. Because when a person is doing teshuvah, they are returning to Hashem. It's very, very powerful to return to Hashem. Because the worst feeling in the world is speeding down the wrong road. It's happened to me a few times. I'm very impatient. The worst feeling in the world is speeding down the wrong road. It's happened to me. Coming down the turnpike, right, in haste, and I miss exit 9. Right. I'm going south on the turnpike. I miss exit 9. I gotta wait to exit 10. How far is that? So far. It's far. And then you gotta make a U-turn and come all the way back. It's very, very harsh. It's very hard. So it's like the worst feeling in the world is to miss your exit. Right? But that many people today are missing the exits. And that's the problem. The problem is we cannot see this concept of what Hashem wants from us. Unless you learn Torah and you're grounded in Torah and your moral compass is the Torah, everything goes in America. Anything goes. You can do what you want. And society is falling apart, basically. People don't realize that society is falling apart. You can do what you want, whatever you want. And society falls apart because families break apart and there's no real cohesive family unit anymore, and children are broken inside. So these are one of the problems. Okay, so teshuvah is going back to Hashem, going back to daddy, going back to mommy, going back to our parents, our spiritual parents. So can you imagine a child leaves you, or you throw the child out. The child's not behaving, throw him out. There's an option of the child going back to the parents. That's what teshuvah is all about, going back to Hashem. So that's number one. Number two, ani ledodi v'dodi li. That's very famous. Everyone knows that. That's a remez for Elul. Ani, Aleph, Lidodi Lamed, Vedodi Vav, Li, Elul. And the last letters of Ani, Lidodi, Vedodi Li are Yud, 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 Yud. 4 Yuds. Which is Gematria. Yud is 10, so 4 Yuds is 40, which is the 40 days of Elul. So 40 days of Elul is the four Yuds of Ani, Lidodi, Doli, Li, the 4 final letters. And the first letters, Ani, Lodi, Doli, Li, spell out the word Elul. Elul is Ani, Lodi, Doli. What does that mean? That is talking about tefillah. Ani, Lodi, Doli is referring to this idea of tefillah, because when are we closest to Hashem? So okay, we have teshuvah, we can go back to Hashem. But say you haven't left Hashem. How do you cling to Hashem? And the answer is, you cling to Hashem by tefillah. When a person is in the middle of tefillah, that's the hard part of tefillah. The hardest part of tefillah is to imagine yourself talking to Hashem. So we go through the motions. But in the head, are we really talking to Hashem? So a person talking to Hashem, they're thinking their own thoughts, they're thinking about their own worries. Hey, 1 second, you're talking to Hashem, what are you worried about? You're talking to the most powerful being. I mean, we have no concept of infinite power. Right? Our grasp of infinity is, unless you're a theoretical mathematician, right? Even then, the grasp of infinite is something which, blows the mind. We can't even think about it in terms of infinite. Right? If you think the Earth is big, it's nothing. It's a little ball in the middle of the Milky Way, and in the Milky Way is a little ball in the middle of the whole universe. So it's tiny. We have to expand our minds, think of the infinite. Hashem controls the infinite. He's the all-powerful over the all-infinite. As the Kabbalah say, Ein Sof. Ein Sof Baruch Hu, there is no boundaries for Hashem. Hashem is, so a person talking to Hashem, but they're thinking different thoughts, they're really not thinking about Hashem. They're not talking to Hashem. You can't talk to Hashem and have other thoughts. I'm talking about myself. It's so hard to have real concentration in tefillah. So tefillah is, Ani Dodi, is really catching up. He's making that bond with Hashem. And the thing is, the only trouble is, we really bond with Hashem when we're in trouble. The only time people really pray with all their hearts, and that's our problem. And that's why people get troubles. And if Hashem wants to hear from you, He gives you troubles. It's ironic. Hashem, He shouldn't have to give us troubles to have to hear from us. Because with Hashem, we should all be talking to Hashem all the time without any troubles. But the irony is, it's not the same when you talk to Hashem with troubles, they talk to Hashem without troubles. So a sick person who's talking to Hashem is talking to Hashem at a different level than a person who's healthy and walking around. A person who has financial troubles is talking to Hashem on a different level than a person who has no financial troubles. So whatever our troubles are, we can use them to talk to Hashem better, to communicate with Hashem, to contact Hashem. And if we make Hashem our beloved, Hashem says, I'll make you my beloved. Ali dodi, midodi li. So it's a two-way street. And it's like Hashem is, David HaMelech calls Hashem, Hashem tzilechal yad yaminecha. Hashem is your shadow. What does it mean, Hashem is your shadow? Whatever you do, Hashem emulates you. Midah keneged midah. You walk towards Him, He walks towards you. You walk away from Him, He walks away from you. Azveni yom, yomay mazveka, Hashem says. You leave me for 1 day, I leave you for 2 days. Why? Because you're going away 1 day, I'm going away 1 day. It's 2 days away. Two people taking a journey, 1 day each. So it's already 2 days separation. So Hashem, same thing. That's how Hashem behaves. That's midah keneged midah. So tefillah, anil dodiv doli li. We have to connect in this month with Hashem, so we have extra prayers. The hard part again is we have quantity. We don't have quality. It's got to be quality. It's very hard to focus the mind at 6 in the morning or whatever it is. But we do slichot. It's very hard, but it helps when you're with a group, and it helps when there's tunes, and it helps when it's loud, and some concentration comes in. It helps. If it's uplifting, there's concentration. So that is Anida. So we had 2 verses so far. We had the verse of Teshuvah, which is Umal Hashem Elokecha Levavcha Ve'Levav Zarecha. Hashem will circumcise your heart, the heart of your children. And number 2 is we had Ani Dodiv Dodi Li, which we said is Tefillah. Number 3. 3 things break an evil decree. What are the 3 things? Teshuvah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah. Where's Tzedakah mentioned? And the answer is in Megillat Esther. In Megillat Esther it says, in chapter 9, Umishloach manot ish lere'ehu umatanot levyonim. Ish, Aleph, lere'ehu lamed, umatanot vav, la'evyonim lamed. Here we have Elul. Where's Elul? Elul is, in the verse, is speaking about chesed, giving to someone else. So we have this concept of 3 things to. It's interesting. In the 3 verses that give us the hint to Elul, you have these 3 concepts. You have the concept of Teshuvah, Umal Hashem Elokecha Levavcha Levav Zarecha. You have the concept of Tefillah, right, which is Ani Lodi V'Dori Li, and you have the concept of Tzedakah, which is in the Megillah, Matanot Ish Lerehu Matanot Levyonim. Right, Ish Lerehu Matanot Levyonim. Giving gifts to each other and giving gifts to the poor, tzedakah. Now there's another verse which is interesting, because it doesn't seem to have any bearing on Elul. So it says, Lo yachel devaro. This is in Bamidbar. It talks about, in Parshat Matot, which talks about laws of vows. Which is interesting because we're going to see vows are very important, critical during this time. Lo yachel devaro. A person should not profane their words. Whatever comes out of your mouth, you should do. A person should be truthful. A person's got to try and be truthful. Now, what's interesting is Elul is the last letters of this. Lo, Lamed, Aleph, Aleph. Yachel, make profane. Yud, Chet, Lamed, Lamed, Aleph, Lamed. Devaro, the last letter is Vav. Kechol, last letter is Lamed. Elul is from the last letters of these 4 words. Not the first letters. So the question is why? Why are these from? No, Elul is normally from the first letters. Why is it the last letters? And the answer is because the custom is to do Hatarat Darim before Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh Hashanah is the end of Elul, not the beginning of Elul. So the hint is to vows, to annulling vows. Elul is at the end of the word. Beautiful. This is amazing. Beautiful. It's the hint gives to us exactly. The hint is Elul is at the end of the words, to tell you that you do Hatarat Darim at the end of Elul, not the beginning of Elul. The question is, why do we do Hatarat Darim? What's Hatarat Nedarim got to do with Rosh Hashanah? And the answer is very simple. We are making New Year resolutions. But how can God trust our New Year resolutions when the guy's alive? So before we can make New Year resolutions, we have to do Teshuvah for making our lives. how do you do teshuva for lies? And the answer is, you make hatara darim. In case you made a vow and you didn't fulfill the vow, hatara is actually annulling the vow, uprooting the vow from the beginning. So it doesn't just stop the vow, take effect from now on, it works backwards, and therefore, even though I transgressed this vow many times, if I annul it backwards, there's no vow. But there still is some kind of transgression because the person, they know there's no vow when he transgressed. But nevertheless, it removes a big burden of transgression. And therefore, Hatan Darim is very, very critical to being successful at Teshuvah. Because our Teshuvah is based on our resolutions, our Teshuvah is based on what we're going to do in the future. And if we're liars, Hashem says, you have a track record, boy. How can I trust you? You have a very bad track record. So, annulling vows is so critical that the beginning of Yom Kippur is Kol Nidrei. It's actually Kal Nidrei because it's in Aramaic. Kal Nidrei. All our vows that we made, right? La Shirim V'la Kayimim. They're not here and they're not valid. We annul all the vows. It's interesting. We started Yom Kippur by annulling vows. Why? Again, we're doing Teshuvah in Yom Kippur. It's all about Teshuvah. Teshuvah is all about, according to Rambam at least, Vidui. What is Vidui? The word Vidui comes from the word Vadai. It's actually this week's parasha, Kitavo. There's Vidui Masrot. The person gave all their tithes. They come to God. We definitely, the word definite, Vadai. If you go to Israel, every other word is Vadai, Vadai, Vadai. Sure, for sure. Definitely. Definitely. Vadai, Vidui is, I'm definite. Hashem, I'm definite. I am so sorry. I regret so much. I'll never do it again, Hashem. But the guy's just talking. He's just saying things. He's not serious. Hashem says, the guy's got a bad track record. He breaks all his vows. I don't trust him. So before that, we do Hatat Darim. That's the reason why it's mentioned over here. Elul is mentioned over here. In the last letters of this verse, telling you do Hatat Darim towards the end of Elul, before Rosh Hashanah. And then again, we do it on Yom Kippur, and we do it before Yom Kippur as well. Now, what's interesting is the fifth pasuk. And this pasuk is talking about cities of refuge. Interesting. Cities of refuge, which is in Parashat Mishpatim, in Shemot, chapter 21. Very famous chapter. You have 3 tractates of Gemara based on this chapter, 21 of Shemot, talks about Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, Bava Batra. 3 tractates to do with civil laws based on this very, very powerful and very, very brief form parasha called Mishpatim, which is given just after Matan Torah. So it tells you that what? You got the Torah, focus on laws between man and man. Before you go to God, you got to focus on man and man. We got to practice on people. If I can't love my fellow Jew or my fellow person, how can I love God? If I can't do good to a human being, how can I do good to a non-human being? If I can't talk nicely to my fellow human being, how can I talk nicely to Hashem? So anyway, in the middle of this parasha, the Torah tells us, it talks about a person who has sinned and killed by accident. A person kills by accident. What is killing by accident? How do you kill by accident? And the answer is, a person is chopping with an axe, and the axe head is loose, and it flies and kills him. So why is he liable to run away? He's going to run away to city of refuge. He's not a murderer because he doesn't want to do murder. He's not a first-degree murderer. Right? He had no intent to kill. So he was chopping with a faulty axe. He knew his axe was faulty, and he kept chopping. And therefore the punishment is he's going to run to a city of refuge. Ir Miklat. So over here in that pasuk we have hint to Elul. Right? So the Torah says, V'Hashem lo tzada, he wasn't hunting the person. V'Elohim ina liado, and Hashem created this person to be next to him. V'samti lach makom asher anu shama, I will put a place for you to run there. Right? So the word ina liado, aleph lamed, v'samti is a vav, lach lamed, Elul. So you have Elul over there in that verse as well. Why? Because Elul is the city of refuge. Our city of refuge. The whole year we're running around, doing all kinds of things. Comes Elul, run to Elul quickly, run to Elul, and use Elul as a mechanism by which to get refuge. Elul is our city of refuge. From all the trials and tribulations around us, Elul is, if we use it properly. It's already 3/4 of the way over. I mean, we just have to get the last. We're trying to do the sprint and catch up and beat the guy who started running before us. We're trying to sprint now. Now's the time to sprint. Elul. So the person's got to put all the energies into Teshuvah. It's so hard. It's so hard. The Yetzirah is so hard to get over this, because the easier it is for us to do Teshuvah, the harder the Yetzirah becomes. So Elul is easier, it's harder. There's more distractions. And the biggest distraction is Labor Day weekend. If I had a choice, I would abolish Labor Day weekend in Elul. Put it somewhere else. Make it a different month. Make it in Cheshvan. Don't put it in Elul. You ruin our Elul for us. Everyone goes away and they go, who knows where they go and what they do. It's very hard. It's very hard to have vacation in Elul and do it right. Where you're going to find? You're going to find a minyan, you're going to do silichot in the middle of your vacations. So, Elul. Elul is a very, very important time, and it's interesting. Gematria of Elul. What is the Gematria of Elul? 67. 67. What is the Gematria of the word? Bina. 67. Elul is meant to bring us back up to the Madriga of Bina. Because Bina is where Teshuvah goes. Bina is the Kisei HaKavod. Goes all the way up to the Kisei HaKavod. Bina. So Elul is Bina. For those who know a little bit of Kabbalah, Bina is one of the Sfirot, the highest Sfirot. You have Keter, Chochmah, Bina. So Bina is number 3. Bina is where our thoughts go up to. Because that's Teshuvah, they're linking themselves to the Midah of Bina. That's where their Teshuvah is going to go. That's the address for Teshuvah. It's the Bina. So Elul is Gematria Bina. It's telling you, hinting to us, that we have to bring our thoughts to that level of Teshuvah. Okay. So that's interesting. Very, very fascinating. These 5 different hints to Elul in different Pesukim and what they hint to. So let's just recap. We have Teshuvah, we have Tefillah, we have Tzedakah. Then we have Hatarat Darim, and then we have the general concept of refuge. Elul is refuge. Why? Because the Pasuk talks about sitting refuge. It mentions Elul. Okay. So I heard a very beautiful story. This is a great story. As Rabbi Rietti would say, it's a true story that never happened. Right? So you have this guy, yeshiva boy, decides he's going to go out into the wide world to earn his fortune, make his fortune. Right? You know, these British stories, Dick Whittington and others, they go into the wide world to make their fortune. So the yeshiva boy is going out into the wide world to make his fortune, and he's running around the globe trotting, as these Israelis want to do after the army, and he goes outside after the army, and he goes to all over the place. Ends up in Hungary. Hungary is very cheap, by the way. A lot of Israelis, Hungary, Romania, they're buying things, they're doing things. So he's in Hungary. He goes to Hungary, and what does he do? He wants to invest. So he's looking in the papers, he's going to people around, what should I invest in? So he gets an offer to buy a glass bottle factory. A glass bottle factory. Cheap. Right? There's a big demand for glass bottles, at least in those days. Today it's more plastic, but in those days it's glass bottles. Coca-Cola, boy, if you can get a Coca-Cola order for glass bottles in those days, they still make glass bottles. So he buys this glass making factory. Only problem is, it's only producing 200 bottles an hour. He wants to make money. So he brings in engineers, and he buys the best machinery and the best engineers. And today you have software engineers to write the program for the machine to work, and he gets this machine cranking up to 3,000 bottles an hour. Imagine. It goes from 300 bottles an hour to 3,000 bottles an hour. And after 6 months, after a year, he's making fortunes. He's making selling bottles, selling thousands of bottles an hour, 3,000 bottles an hour. And he's very, very wealthy. Very, very wealthy now. He's doing very well, he's very wealthy, he gets married, he has children, he sends money to yeshivot, everything's going well. After 5 years or so, he finds the number of bottles being produced is going down. It goes down 2,900 an hour. Then it goes down 2,800 an hour. You know the story? And what happens? Calls all the engineers, software engineers, this engineer, go fire, what's going on in my factory? What's going on with the machines? They all come back, nothing wrong with machinery. Machinery is fine. Machinery is fine. What should I do? Doesn't know what to do. He's praying, Hashem, please help me. Nothing. These guys, they don't know, they can't help me. The engineers don't help me. Every week it's going down 100 bottles less an hour. He's going to lose a lot of money. Potential profit. Okay. In the meantime, who comes to him? One of his former friends in yeshiva. And this guy stayed as being a rabbi. Now he's collecting money for his yeshiva. He comes to his friend. He says, please, I need a donation. The guy says, please help me. I don't know what's going on in my bottle factory. Instead of producing 3,000 bottles an hour, we're producing now 2,800. And it's going down. Every day it's going down. It's going down. Watch it going down. I don't know what to do. The engineers can't help me. No one can help me. He says, no problem. I'll fix it for you. Give me a screwdriver. What's going on? Yeshiva boy, give him a screwdriver. He wants to fix my house. What's going to do? 2 hours later, he says, I fixed it. So what? You fixed it in 2 hours? No one can fix it. So try it. Count how many bottles now. Sure enough, goes back 3,000 bottles an hour. So listen, this is too good to be true. Let me wait another hour. Now the next hour also, 3,000 bottles an hour, 3,000 bottles an hour. So you fixed it. Tell me how you fixed it. You're with a screwdriver. He said, listen, he says, you got to know that anyone who has machinery operating all the time, the screws and the nuts and the bolts get loose. However, that's just time. Even though it's the best machine in the world, it needs a tune-up. So these guys are focusing on the engineering and the software, but the machine itself is working non-stop, 24 hours a day. It needs a little tune-up. What happens is the screws come loose. So wherever there's a screw, I took the screwdriver and I tightened the screw. So I did. I tightened every single screw in your machine, and the machine is running perfectly now. So my friends, this is the analogy of Elul. Elul is, we're running for a whole year. Well, 11 months. This is the last Rosh Hashanah. It's the last top up. It's the last spiritual excitement. And we need to tune up our spiritual souls. And that's what Elul is for. Elul is to tune up. We have to tune ourselves up. And then, from Elul we move into Tishrei. Now it's interesting. There's a beautiful midrash. The midrash says, and listen to this midrash, but don't take it literally. It sounds very easy. The midrash says, when the Jews dress up in their good clothes and they go to synagogue, they are assured, guaranteed forgiveness. Sounds too good, right? Make sure you dress in good clothes. You go to shul and you dress in good clothes. What's going on here? This is what I heard someone explaining. It says, Rabbi Salanta says, when all the Jews go to shul together, they get along. When all the Jews get along, they go to shul together. They're guaranteed forgiveness. That's Rabbi Salanta's spin on it, on the midrash. Midrash doesn't say that. Midrash says they all dress up and they go to shul, and they're happy, they're forgiven. Now, there's another explanation that is, and that's a very, very important point. This is the time of the year we have to build up our bitachon in Hashem. We have to build up our faith in Hashem, that Hashem is Erech Apayim. That's why the 13 attributes are very important at this time. He's El, which is a very powerful God. El is a God of power and forgiveness and kindness. Rachum, merciful. Okay, straight right there. Erech Apayim, Roches Emet. Hashem does kindness. A person who trusts in God's kindness, Hashem says, since you trusted in my kindness, that's going to power your forgiveness. Your forgiveness will be powered by your trust. The more trust we have in Hashem's kindness, the more forgiveness we have. Okay, I just want to tell you a few stories over here. There's a beautiful story. The Ben Ish Chai brings down the story of a king who had a son who was very sick. I think the Chavetz Chaim also brings down the story. I don't know if the Chavetz Chaim saw the Ben Ish Chai's story, but it's very, very similar. The king had a son who was very sick, and the son is getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and the doctors can't help. So the king proclaims, anyone who can heal my son, the doctor just left. Can heal my son, I'll reward him. I'll give him anything for my treasury. All the doctors give up. They try their best to give up. Nothing. All of a sudden, a simple guy comes along, so I can help him. Okay, try. If you can help him, I'll give you whatever you want for my treasury. So he comes, he finds some kind of herbs. He's an expert in herbs, and he comes and he gives the kid herbs. Every day the kid's getting better and better and better. Finally the kid is healed. And then the king says, you get one whole day in my treasury, you can take whatever you want. It's all yours. Because you heal my son, he's my only son. He's the light of my life. Take whatever you want from my treasury. What happens is, the king's advisors come to him. It's impossible. He said, King, he says, think about it. This guy will come and empty out your treasury. You know, you worked so hard to fill up your treasury, and your father's filled up so hard, and your grandfather worked so hard, and you're going to get it here all in one day? He said, what can I do? He said, I already promised. He said, yeah, yes, sir. But let's see a way to divert this guy's attention. Let's go and find out more about the person and see what their weaknesses are. Okay, so they go find out about this guy. Ah, he likes music. Okay, that's good. He likes good food. That's good. He likes parties. Good, fantastic. Now we have a plan. King, we have a plan. Let's create a diversion. On the day he's going to go to the treasury to get all the gold and silver and all the jewels, we're going to make a party right outside the treasury. And good food and good music and good dancing and let's see. So the guy comes that day. He's got the whole day to go to the treasury. He brings his bags and sacks with it to fill up. And on the way to the treasury, he smells. Hi, good smells. What's going on up here? He hears music. Good music. People inside partying. So, ooh, there's a good party over here. He says, what's the entrance fee over here? The entrance fee is free. The king put on a party for all his subjects to allow anyone can come and enjoy. So let's say, so I got the whole day. Let me go for a couple of hours. So he goes for a couple of hours, and the couple of hours turn into the whole day. Nearly the whole day's gone. He remembers the last half hour. He remembers what he's meant to do. You know, he fills up the sacks like crazy, but he hardly achieved anything. He comes outside, and he finds the party was just for him. They're all over there clapping. We tricked you! We fooled you! Ben Ish says, that is this world. This world is, we're here for a mission, but the trouble is, Hashem puts on diversions for us. So the mission is to break through those diversions. Imagine you're in the army, you're in the special forces, and you have a special task, or even better, a spy. The United States puts a spy in Vietnam. And he's there for 30 years. You know, after 30 years, he forgot what he's doing there. He got married, he started a business, started a corporation. So they send a CIA guy to go track him down. What's going on? He stopped sending us messages. So the CIA guy goes to him and says, gosh, I forgot I was a spy. How many spies just settle in and they forget what their job is? Everything's going well for them in their own personal lives. They forget what their mission is. Same thing. We forget our mission. So Elul comes along, and that's why we need the shofar. The shofar is the reminder of our mission. The shofar is, Rambam says, it's an alarm clock. It's a spiritual alarm clock to wake us up to do our mission. So it's a very important concept. The shofar is an alarm clock. And that brings me to the next story of Ben Ish Chai. Ben Ish Chai says the story. He says there was a big merchant. Left his family, took his money and took his things to buy goods from abroad. Goes on the boat. And the boat, they're not in a rush. They go to every port. And and they come to a port in a desert island. The captain says, we need to rest. Everyone get off, but we're leaving it in 5 hours' time, whether you're here or not, the boat is leaving. This guy, the businessman, gets off as well. Everyone gets off the boat. And 5 hours, he says, let me take a nap. It's beautiful weather. So let me take a nap under the palm tree. He goes under the palm tree, he goes to sleep, and the boat leaves without him. Now he's stranded in this desert island, no boat, nothing, by himself. What would you do if you're stranded in a desert island, no boat? So he was a smart guy. What he does is he climbs the tallest tree he can find, and at night he looks for lights. Brilliant. If you're ever stuck in a desert island, use this technique. It's a very, very good technique. Today you just use your GPS or your phone, whatever it is, but there's no cell phone, no cell service. So what do? You look for light. So he looks for light, and he sees far away, he sees a glimmer of light. So he runs with the last strength, like for days, runs a few days. So he gets to this house in the middle of nowhere, palace. It's a palace. Knocks on the door, the butler opens the door. What can I do for you? I need this, I need food, I'm starving. He said, come in and speak to the master of the house. He speaks to the master of the house. Master of the house says, no problem, you got it. You need food? You got food. Rings the bell on his table. He's got a bell on the table. Ding, 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 ding. A line of servants come. Yes, master, what do you need? You need this guy, give him food, but he can't eat food. You give him fruit juice. So he gets strong and he'll be able to eat food. No problem. You give him fruit juice. Now put him in bed. So another group of servants come. They give him a shower. Put him into a nice bed. He's sleeping now. He didn't sleep for 3 days. And he's has good food, and he's sleeping, and he's eating, and he's getting back his strength. Goes back to his strength. And the guy, the owner of the house, what a great guy. Says, well, what can I do for you? I give you food, I give you bedding, what can I do for you? He said, well, I want to go home. Can you find out how to get home? How am I going to go home? The guy says, don't worry, I'll get you a coach, horses, I'll provide everything for you to go home. Boat, everything to go home. And whatever you want, you can take from here. Ask me what you want, whatever you want. So the guy says, the one thing I want the most is a bell like yours. I want that bell. You ring the bell, everything happens. I want a bell like yours. So the guy says, servant, ding, 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 get me a bell, just like this. And the servant gets bell, okay, brings a beautiful bell, same exact duplicate of this bell. And the guy says, no, I don't want that bell, I want your bell. Sure, take my bell. Anything else you want? I said, no. He said, that's all I want, it's a bell. Okay, gets him a coach, horses, goes back home. In the meantime, his family are missing him, and they don't have any food, no clothing, no nothing, no money. Daddy, welcome back, Daddy. How you brought us food, clothes? Says, no problem. He says, make a big party. Well, how you have no money to rent the hall? It's all credit. Take credit. Definitely, no problem. Make a big party, invite the whole world. No problem. But what about food? Don't worry about food. Just get the hall. Don't worry about food. Everything's under control. Okay. So they have a big party, everyone's in the hall. He comes in the hall. Where's the food? Where's the this? So don't worry. Takes out his bell, puts it on the table. Ding, 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 ding. Looking around. Where are the servants? Nothing happened. Ding, 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 ding. Have enough there. Ding, 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 ding. The bell doesn't work on its own. Right? So that's the parable Ben Ish Chai says. A shofar by itself is worth nothing. If the shofar doesn't wake you up, if the shofar doesn't arouse a person to teshuvah, it's just a bell going off with nothing happening. So that's our task, is to sensitize ourselves to the shofar. Elul is a time to sensitize ourselves to this wake-up call. The wake-up call of Elul. So it's a very powerful idea. So Elul is a month of mercy and forgiveness. And it's a gift that Hashem gave us with His great mercy. And if we use it properly this month, for sure we will have a very good year. For sure. If we use this month properly, it's guaranteed we're going to have a good year. So it's very, very important to use this month properly. This is the time where the King of the world gave us to come to Him, and He opened the doors for us. And if not now, when? If not now, when? However, the Yetzer Hara causes the person to dream and to waste our lives in vanity. You know, it's interesting. I was in London visiting my mother, and she's in an old age home. And I usually don't see these things, but in an old age home, you know, they show things for the elderly people. So they showed over here an orchestra. This is a world famous orchestra. I don't know who the guy is. He's an Italian guy. He went to Brazil, and they showed the whole video of his orchestra in Brazil and the antics they perform and all sorts of gimmicks they have, and entertaining. So you have people over there crying, literally crying with tears. You know, the songs are so moving for them, and the music is so good that you see people wiping their tears away all the time. Right? And they're attracted by the music and the songs and this and that. They spend an hour and a half of their lives over there, attracted by the songs and the music. But if you think about it, in the big scheme of things, it's such a waste of time, because you're not achieving anything in the service of God in that time they're spending listening to the music. So it's all this are just gimmicks to keep a person occupied, keep them out of mischief. Okay, it's very good to keep people out of mischief, but if you're keeping them away from doing good as well at the same time, that's where the problems are. And that's our lives. Our lives are full of these gimmicks today. We have a lot of things that remove a person from really, what is my mission in the world? That's what Elul is all about. Elul is a time to refocus our lives. What did God put me in this world for? What is my mission in the world? So Arizal gives us a few pointers. Some one is we got 613 mitzvot. That's a lot of things to do. Yeah, a lot of things to do. Number two is, Arizal says, we're here to fix something. It's called a tikkun. We're here to make a tikkun. And what is our tikkun? Our tikkun is our failings, our weaknesses. We are here to fix, that's our tikkun. We're here to fix our failings. The person says, you know what, I have this failing, this failing, this failing. Well, that's what your job is. Your job is here to fix your failings. So we have to try and fix our failings. It's so hard. 1 month. It's whatever's left of this month. So number one is we have to arouse ourselves. That's number one. And how do you arouse yourself? And the answer is very simple. One word. Musar, 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 musar. Person does not learn musar, they're lost completely. As the man went to the Chofetz Chaim, he says, Rabbi, he says, I only have 10 minutes a day to learn. What should I learn? Chofetz Chaim says, learn musar, and you'll find you have more time. Right? Because we waste our time. So a person learns musar, will say, listen, let's learn another 10 minutes. Let's learn another 20 minutes. So it's very, very important. Now is the time to learn musar. And we have major books of musar, but stick to a few of them. I would recommend number one is to read the Rambam Silchot Teshuvah, and we're going to talk more about it on Shabbat and other classes in the future. You have a question?
Yeah, if you fix your tikkuns earlier in life, that means you're living a shorter life?
Not necessarily, because you fix your tikkun for yourself. What about your tikkun for other people? Mm-hmm. Right, so even a person who fixes their own mission, there's no end to how much you can lead by example. There's no end. There's no end to it. I just heard someone told me today that if you fix your tikkun in Israel, you have to fix your tikkun outside Israel as well. Vice versa. The result did his tikkun outside Israel. Hashem said, now go to Israel. Do your tikkun in Israel. So every country has got a different tikkun. So, Bezrat Hashem, Hamalacha Meruba. We have a lot of work to do, and there's man katzar. And the time is very short. Bezrat Hashem will be successful in to fix out these 40 days. Bezrat Hashem. Yes.